Does the sting of a stolen championship ever truly fade, or does it harden into something sharper, something angrier, something that waits patiently for its moment to strike back? Because as we stand here in early February 2026, with winter still clinging stubbornly to Ontario, the Toronto Blue Jays are not resting, not healing, and certainly not forgiving. There is a tension humming beneath this franchise, a low electrical buzz that you can almost hear if you listen closely enough. And here on the Blue Jays Report, we need to talk about it, honestly and completely, because this moment might define the next decade of Blue Jays baseball. The snow may still coat the streets around Rogers Centre, but the temperature inside the front office feels volcanic. To understand why, we have to reopen a wound that never properly closed. The 2025 World Series still hangs over this city like a ghost that refuses to move on. Toronto were not outsiders or hopeful underdogs. They were there. They were close enough to touch the trophy, close enough to taste the champagne. Yonge Street was ready. The parade route was practically rehearsed in people's heads. And then, in the cruelest twist imaginable, the Los Angeles Dodgers ripped it all away. This wasn't just a loss that fades with time. It felt like a theft, committed in plain sight, under bright lights, with millions watching. Game 6 will live forever in Blue Jays infamy. The lodged ball call was not just controversial, it was catastrophic. A moment where the game itself seemed to betray Toronto. The ball was ruled stuck, play was killed, momentum was erased. Yet everyone saw the outfielder casually retrieve it, as though nothing had lodged at all. It was a technicality that cut deeper than a blown save. That call didn't just alter an inning. It may have rewritten baseball history. Heartbreak like that doesn't simply hurt. It transforms. Inside a clubhouse, it creates a vacuum that can only be filled by obsession. The kind of obsession that demands power, control, and insurance against fate itself. The Toronto Blue Jays of 2026 are not motivated by optimism. They are fueled by rage, precision, and unfinished business. And if you're enjoying this deep dive already, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the Blue Jays Report, because this story is only just getting started. Fast forward to now, and the front office is not licking its wounds. It is sharpening its knives. This has already been a productive off-season, but the whispers circulating baseball circles right now threaten to shake the league to its core. We are talking about a potential $200 million move, a declaration that Toronto is done leaving its fate in the hands of umpires and chance. This isn't about competing anymore. This is about domination. The name attached to this seismic rumor is Framber Valdez. This is not just another free agent rumor designed to fill column inches. This is a statement of intent. A World Series champion. A left-handed ace. A pitcher whose arm can bend lineups and whose presence alone changes playoff mathematics. The pain of 2025 has mutated into the aggression of 2026, and Valdez represents the embodiment of that transformation. The Blue Jays are no longer asking what if. They are asking who's next. On the surface, the question seems obvious. Why would a team that won 94 games and reached the World Series feel the need to spend that kind of money on a single pitcher? The answer lies in the geometry of the roster, in the quiet imbalance that lurks beneath the surface of an otherwise terrifying rotation. Toronto's pitching staff is elite, but it is skewed. Right hand. Predictable in its angles, even if not its quality. In a modern game ruled by matchups, data, and surgical preparation, going into October without a high-leverage left-handed starter is a gamble bordering on negligence. Lefty-heavy lineups like the Yankees, with that unforgiving short porch, or the Dodgers, stacked endlessly with MVP-caliber bats, are built to exploit that weakness. Framber Valdez is not a luxury addition. He is a tactical correction. This is where the chessboard comes into focus. The money is there. We know that. Toronto made a legitimate push for Kyle Tucker, and when that door closed, the funds didn't disappear into thin air. They Saturday. Waiting. Burning. Ownership understands that the difference between heartbreak and history can come down to a single pitch thrown from a slightly different angle. A left-handed sinker moving like it's possessed by gravity itself. But the plan goes deeper than 2026. There is a cliff looming just beyond the horizon. Kevin Gausman and Shane Bieber are both staring at free agency next winter. Lose one without a plan, and you wobble. Lose both, and you fall. Signing Valdez isn't just about avenging the past. It's about protecting the future. It's a bridge from now to what comes next, a stabilizing force in a sport defined by volatility. History supports this thinking. The great dynastic rotations were never one-dimensional. The Braves of the 90s, the Giants of the 2010s, they all had balance. They could bludgeon you with power arms and then unravel you with a lefty who changed the rhythm of a series. Imagine a playoff rotation where hitters spend nights losing sleep over Gaussman and Bieber, only to wake up and face Valdez's heavy sinker from the other side. It's not just difficult. It's cruel. And yet, every great story needs conflict, and here it arrives like a crack of thunder. Because Framber Valdez is not just an arm. He is a human being, complete with edges, ego, and controversy. This is where the narrative tightens, where the question stops being about talent and starts being about trust. Reports out of Houston paint a complicated picture. A pitcher who allegedly crossed up his own catcher. A player who openly questioned coaching decisions. A personality that does not always bend easily. In a game built on rhythm and communication, that is terrifying. Pitcher and catcher are supposed to be in sync, a private language spoken at 95 miles per hour. Break that trust, and chaos follows. Houston, a franchise that knows Valdez better than anyone, hesitated to meet his asking price. That alone should give Toronto pause. Now imagine dropping that volatility into a clubhouse still emotionally bruised by a World Series loss. Toronto media is relentless. One bad month, one visible disagreement on the mound, and the narrative explodes. A $200 million contract doesn't just amplify success. It magnifies failure. And yet, this is where the debate fractures the fanbase. Scroll through the comments and you'll see it clearly. One side demands the talent, no questions asked. Rings are all that matter. The other side fears poisoning a culture that nearly reached the summit. Talent versus chemistry. Ceiling versus stability. It's an argument as old as sport itself. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Good enough is no longer acceptable in Toronto. Good enough got them to the World Series. Good enough couldn't overcome a single, devastating call. Framber Valdez represents control. Insurance. The refusal to leave destiny exposed ever again. He is the chaos factor, capable of either burning everything down or lighting the path to glory. So what is the price of legacy? Is it measured in dollars, or in courage? Because the scariest moves are often the ones that change everything. If you're enjoying this breakdown, take a moment to like the video, share it with fellow Jays fans, and subscribe to the Blue Jays Report so you don't miss how this saga unfolds. As we zoom out, the picture becomes clearer. The Toronto Blue Jays are entering 2026 hungry, angry, and unapologetically aggressive. Watching the Dodgers celebrate on their field has carved something sharp into this organization's identity. The rotation, as it stands, is elite. It could carry them deep again. But deep is no longer the destination. October without a parade is failure now. Adding Framber Valdez could be the defining move of the entire winter. It could signal that Toronto is done being polite, done being almost. They are ready to be feared. Ready to walk into hostile stadiums and silence crowds pitch by pitch. Ready to force the league to react to them. On paper, this could be the greatest rotation baseball has ever seen. But paper doesn't feel pressure. Paper doesn't hear boos or whistles or controversy. Games are played where balls get lodged, calls go wrong, and trust is tested. This road will be stressful, expensive, and possibly explosive. But isn't that exactly what we want? The stakes are finally worthy of the talent. The question now belongs to you. Do you sign Framber Valdez and risk everything for dominance? Or do you trust the group that came within inches of immortality? And be honest, do you still lose sleep over that lodged ball in Game 6? I know I do. Smash that subscribe button, because the road to the 2026 World Series has already begun, and here on the Blue Jays Report, we'll be with you every step of the way. Let's play ball.